In this video, I will teach you how to make the best DIY live mouse trap. What you're gonna need is a large, heavy lid to trap the mouse under. They are very strong, and a big, heavy one. This one has been perfect for me. The next thing you'll need is a knife. You want the knife to be as long as possible and with the least bulky handle as possible. What's going to happen is when it's all set up, the knife will be holding up the edge of this lid, and you'll have your nut bait on the tip of the knife. When the mouse tries to pull on it, it'll wiggle the knife here, and that'll cause the whole lid to collapse. This is a great modification of the design where they put a cup upside down on top of a coin with some peanut butter smeared up on the inside of the cup. This hopefully will prevent the mouse from suffocating. Depending on if there's a gap here, then they can keep breathing. If the lid is able to seal completely, you might have a dead mouse in the morning. But the other things to know you need is a very thin cutting board. Once the mouse is trapped, you can slide that underneath, and then since that's not very rigid, after that one's slid under, I slid this under and trap the mouse inside like that to go take them wherever you want to take them. I dumped them from here into a trash can, and then used a glove to get them out of the trash can, and then put them in a. I've had all sorts of mice escape, but I made this little. This is the only prison I found for the mouse that they couldn't escape from, and I had 2 mice and 2 of these, and they almost died because I left it sitting up like this. The reason is because carbon dioxide is heavier than air, and the carbon dioxide was filling up here, and there wasn't much oxygen getting in. They also peed inside the jar, and it smelled just so terrible. There was ammonia fumes, so they almost died. But then I turned the jar sideways, and they were able to climb up and breathe out of the holes here before I got them released far away from my house. So I'll set it up and then show you what it'll look like. This is how I started it, my first design. This is pretty good. I recommend almonds because they're one of the stronger nuts, and when they try to pull it off, it's going to be wobbling it from the top and make it likely to collapse. But I'll show you what it looks like when it's set up. Okay, so here I have the lid balancing on the edge of the knife blade. You can adjust the sensitivity of it by changing the angle here. If it's going exactly perpendicular to the outside edge, then it'll be the easiest to trip. If it's tripping too easy, you can change the angle so it's going less than perpendicular to this edge. So that is how the mouse gets trapped if it tries to pull that off. But I have had the mice pulling it off. They were successful. When that happens, it's not a waste because they start believing that they can get away with it, and it'll just be a matter of time till you end up getting them. Modification that I made to that original setup, which worked like a charm, was to balance the knife on top of the nut like this. And mice are really, it's really amazing. They're not gonna get this nut. They're not gonna get this nut without tripping this trap. So here you can see there's a little bit of a gap there. Now, if your knife handle is too thick, like this knife, and if it's too far up to the handle, a mouse can easily get under that gap. Even if it's like that, you would be surprised at how squishy they can be. So that's why it's important to have the least bulky handle you can find, and the longest blade you can find, and then when you set it, it should be is the smallest amount of the blade that you can have in side, because if you have too much of the blade inside, the handle is going to create too much of a gap.